privilege of introducing Trish Smedley. She's one of our new members on the MDRS astronomy team. We were out at they had in July, did a lot of work on the telescope and various things which she'll tell you about. Trish was a night sky ranger for the Park Service and had taught a lot of astronomy to people and shared her knowledge of this astronomy. She's currently pursuing undergrad in astronomy and organizational management at Eastern Florida State College. And anyway, I feel very privileged to be able to introduce her.
Hi guys, how are we doing today? Full house. Awesome. Okay, so by show of hands, how many of you have heard of the Musk Observatory at MDRS? How many people know what we do? Okay, there's some. So hopefully by the end of my short talk, we will have a couple more hands up. So I want to thank John for introducing me. He is part of the astronomy team as well. He's been there since the ground floor, so he's teaching me quite a bit. I just joined the astronomy team, MDRS. Like he said, I was previously working for the National Park Service. Pretty happy to switch over because my first love is astronomy. So on with the show. Okay, these pictures aren't showing it quite as good as they look on the screen here, but you guys get the main picture. And one of the things we were doing on the Refit crew, among other things, was astrophotography. We were wanting to get some Milky Way shots, some deep sky imaging done. And so Gary here, another member of our team, took a lot of really nice pictures, which we're going to look at. But before we do, we have a quick little video. Hopefully the audio works.
The explorers. We have a need to find what is out there. It is a drive inside each and every one of us. The drive to wonder, to push the boundaries, and to explore.
Okay, just imagine that was a little bit darker. So here was the crew. We have Peter Dieterlein, who is the astronomy team coordinator. We have Gary Becker in the back there, who did a lot of astrophotography. Sarah Beth, the blonde in the black shirt, she is a photographer by trade, and she took a lot of the pictures I'm going to show you. We've got Ginger in there, John, Randy, and myself. And Randy and I are both trying to get on a crew this upcoming season, by the way. If anyone here is in control of who goes on the cruise, I'd like to see you. Okay, so here are our objectives. The scope was it was not aligned at all. It was kind of off in its own little world. So we wanted, first things first, is to get aligned. It's very important for a telescope. We also wanted to film some training material when, say, an astronomer or an astronomy student wants to come out on a mission and be the crew astronomer. They need to go through training material and these little tests that Peter comes up with in order to understand the observatory, so you don't go in and start breaking stuff. And so we needed some new training tutorials, and we got a lot of that done while we were there. My main point of interest, what I'm really good at, is outreach. So once I landed on Mars, I started thinking, how can I get this out to the people? Mars to the masses is what I'm calling it. And so we were brainstorming, all 6 of us, everyone had different ideas, and we got some good ideas out there as far as outreach for this coming season and for the future. Again, astrophotography was a big part, and also team meetings. Hardly any of us on the astronomy team knew each other, so this was a nice chance for us to spend 6 days in the Hab and get to know each other pretty darn well. As well as overall just prep the observatory for the upcoming season. Cord management, I don't know if anyone's heard of that term before. Cord management's a lot of fun. We got a lot of cords in there. We got to manage them. Also clean. We do a lot of cleaning. So there's the scope. It has a couple different nicknames. I like to call it Michael Valentine Smith. It's a 14-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain. We got most everything associated with the Musk Observatory donated. Celestron, I don't have all the companies here in front of me, unfortunately. SBIG was a big contributor, obviously the Musk Foundation. And so you can see here we have a pretty nice camera attached to the back of the scope there. And so that allows us to take pretty good astrophotography pictures as opposed to just putting a DSLR camera on the back of it. Okay, so I kind of went over this already, but at the end of the week, we aligned the scope, which was our main objective. We filmed the tutorials, got a lot of good astrophotography, and just by random chance, a couple of us, the 3 girls, went into town and actually got to go swimming one of the days in the next town over. And anyway, while we were in town, going to the cafe and the pool and all these different places, we were of course talking about what we were doing. Hey, we're on the Mars Desert Research Station, we're on the astronomy team, and the locals in and around Hanksville have no clue what we're doing. They're a little freaked out of us, actually. They know it's something with Mars. You guys talk to Martians. What do you do? And so we use that opportunity to explain to them, hey, here's what we do. Us in particular, we're working on the telescope, and we do a lot of night sky observing. And so we invited some people out, and we actually had about 5 people show up one night. And correct me if I'm wrong, John, that was the first public star party that has ever taken place in the 11 years. The first time the public has come out and looked at the stars. So that was kind of a big deal. More so to John than me, because I'm brand new. And we also, I just went over career outreach in surrounding communities. Okay, so some of you who are familiar with the Musk Observatory remember it living up on the ridge. And a couple years ago, they moved the scope to its current location. Basically, geological shifts in the ground were causing major alignment issues, so that's the main reason for the move. And Peter Dieterlein, the guy I showed you earlier, he was the main crew member that moved the entire observatory. And you can imagine how difficult that probably was for him. He did have help, though. So here's piecing it together. Of course, they were watching the weather forecast very closely. And so these are, 2 of the superstars on the astronomy team, Gary Becker and Peter Dieterlein. Sorry they couldn't be here with us. And in this picture right here, we have Sarah Beth Broccoli, who, again, she's not an astronomer by trade. She's more into environmental science. And she just happened to have an undergrad in photography, so she came out and took a lot of good shots. We appreciate her coming. There's myself. We actually weren't in sim mode, but we pretended we were. There's a really nice shot of the observatory getting ready. And so here's what we were working with. Obviously, this was a long exposure, but you guys get the picture. I am, like I said before, I'm a night sky ranger for the National Park Service. And one of the things that I did when I was a park ranger at Badlands National Park was to talk about and advertise the whole idea of light pollution, night sky conservation, so on and so forth. And I thought the Badlands National Park in South Dakota had a dark sky. MDRS has the darkest sky I've ever seen in my life. Anyone know the Bortle scale? It was about a 1, very dark. Here's a nice shot Gary took of Sarah Beth working in the observatory. So as a photographer, she also does astrophotography. So she is kind of an astronomer, isn't she? Here's some more EVA suit modeling I did. Here's a close-up of Gary. Okay, these are some of the shots we got while we were out there. And I apologize, they're a little fuzzy. If anyone is extremely interested in what they look like, they could come up and see me at any point. They're beautiful. What's that? Andromeda. Got a nice dumbbell here. This was actually not shot during the Refit crew. We did not have a moon during our mission, so this is a previous MDRS astrophotography shot. Okay, so what does the future hold for the Musk Observatory? We have a telescope that crew astronomers can use during their time. We have some astrophotography that goes on a couple times a year. We have some people that are interested in variable star observing. We also have supernova searches going on. So as far as I'm concerned, misplaced slide there. As far as I'm concerned, what I'm interested in as far as the future of the Musk Observatory has to do mainly with outreach. You guys here in the audience obviously know about MDRS and the Musk Observatory, but what about a random person you find in a Philadelphia mall? Probably not. So as hard as it is to reach the general public, and A, talk to them about Mars, and B, talk to them about the Musk Observatory, that's one of the things I want to do, is to have the average person, the average kid going to school, the junior high student in Minneapolis, for them to know about the Musk Observatory, what we're doing, why it's important, and how they can be involved. And so I have here just a couple different ideas. One of the biggest things we're working on is a educators summer camp. And the idea behind that is to have an all-teacher crew out for 5 days. And we would teach them all about Mars, all about astronomy, how to have star parties at their school, and all about anything and everything astronomy, how they can take what they have learned during their mission and take that back into the classroom. And so basically spreading the idea. We also are interested in having some more star parties for the general public. We are wanting to get our astrophotography out there. We have a Flickr page on the MDRS website. We have some astrophotography. But we're wanting to get the astrophotography more visible. So to back up a slide here, I have a little bit of information on how anyone and everyone can get involved. I'm sure you guys are just chomping at the bit. How can I be involved with this? There's two ways. One, like me, you could volunteer. Basically, they'll take almost anybody that wants to work for free. And you can do a lot of different things as a volunteer. You can work remotely with outreach. You can write a blog. You can do a lot of different social media tasks that need to be done. And like me, you might get invited out to the HAB. I had emailed Peter about volunteering on the astronomy team, and within a week he invited me out to the HAB to spend 5 days out there for free. Not a bad gig at all. So if you're ever wanting to go out to the HAB, wanting to help, that might be a easier way to do it than signing up for a mission. One of the things I'm going to do, along with Randy and some other people on the astronomy team, I'm going to apply to be on a crew, a real crew for 2 weeks in sim mode. And originally I had the thought to have an all-astronomy crew. I'm looking in this corner over here. An all-astronomy crew. That's probably going to get put off to next year, so I'm just going to apply as a crew astronomer. And what I want to accomplish during the mission is local outreach, as well as work on this educators camp, as well as many other things. We are currently building a tunnel from the hab out to the observatory, which is going to be a lot of fun to build. It's going to look a lot like the Heinlein Tunnel that connects the hab to the greenhouse right now. One other thing that's going on, I didn't write any slides for it, but this coming end of September, early October is the World Space Week. Has anyone heard of World Space Week? It's not big in America for some reason. But anyway, World Space Week is just what it sounds like, a celebration around the world of space. And we are getting a crew from New Zealand to come out to the hab. And we are gonna, myself and them included, we're gonna be on a mini sim mission. For 4 days, we're gonna be in sim mode, working with people around the world in the World Space Week community, doing telecasts, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. So I'm assuming it's gonna be on the MDRS website. So if anyone's interested in checking that out, it's gonna be, like I said, early October. So by mid-October, it should be on the website. So does anyone have any questions about what we do, why we do it, how do we do it?
Available online. I think that was originally part of the plan for it.
Right, yeah. For the ability to be operated remotely?
To view just what's going on online, as well as remote operation. Remote operations will be limited to people who have permission, but as far as an outreach, it's the general public being able to view it and see the dark sky and stuff.
I believe that was a previous project. Is there something on the website about that? Right now, we're having a lot of connectivity issues out there. And, you know, if we can get a strong internet, we can just plug from the Musk Observatory into a classroom, or like I said, just on a website, and you can just log on and see what we're viewing. We also have the idea to talk to schools and have kids request objects, and we would then photograph it and get to them the next day, talk about it. But I agree with you that for the public to really understand and know what's going on, let alone care, it has to be accessible. I think he was first.
So the main telescope itself, is it operated from inside the hab with the laptop, or are you sitting out there working with it manually with the
Well, right now, it is only operational actually in the observatory. There's a computer, a laptop hooked up to the scope itself. We also do use the hand controls. One of the potential outcomes we really wanted to accomplish, we wanted to have the observatory talk to the hab and do that very same thing, to be able to remotely control it. And we were not able to make that a reality, mainly because of connectivity issues. So I would venture to say connectivity is probably one of our biggest issues right now, as far as outreach, astrophotography.
I was commander of Crew 124 this past February, and we had two issues. One was our astronomer was a woman named Paula. She's very technically skilled, and at one point she just could not get the telescope to track. She just kept getting star trails every time, and I think she spent the rest of the vacation with us. Has anything been done to try and
Yes, I guess I didn't cover it. We did do a hard polar alignment, and it was very precise, and so afterwards we were able to get everything going. But that was, I had heard that complaint before, that before this refit mission, the scope was barely usable.
And as far as connectivity, I just gave a talk to the Chicago Astronomical Society last Friday about MDRS, and they were wishing that we had connectivity for them to run it. But the fact is, in an unrelated thing, we were doing stuff with that little rover that's out there. I don't know if it's still working or not. It was working when we left it. but we were trying to do an extended range thing with Wi-Fi. And we found that if we took the Wi-Fi hub for it, the wireless, and we mainly just wanted to plug it in somewhere, and that was the furthest outlet from the hub itself. So we just plugged it in out there, but we were able to extend its range quite a bit.
Really?
And the advantage was that you could control because we had the hub there and the laptop that we have,
Mm-hmm.
you actually had just enough range to do that wirelessly.
Well, I'd be interested in talking with you a little bit more about that. You know, one of the things I want to accomplish here at this convention, besides networking, is maybe talk to someone about connectivity issues. I've been told a couple different stories of it's a money issue, it's not a money issue. There was previously good connectivity and it was misused. I'm not sure what the real story is, but the point is to do anything. You know, not even us in the observatory, but in general, everyone at the hab, you need connectivity. It's almost, 2014, so.
Do you have or plan to do a tutorial on your server?
No, but that's a very good idea. He asked if we were ever going to be doing a tutorial for non-astronomers. And I'm assuming you mean a crew biologist that would be interested in using the observatory? You know, as far as I know, that's not in the works. But thinking back to the tutorials that we filmed while we were out there, they would be accessible to anyone. They weren't, they were probably 8th grade level. But I'd like to talk with you more about that. You guys have some good ideas. Any more questions? Come on, John. Give me some.
Just remember that anybody who uses the telescope, if they have gone through the training process is all online. So what you can do is go online and teach these step-by-step what to do from the time you walk, open the door till you close the door.
So-
you don't have to be a focused on you have to go through that training, and then you are authorized to use it.
Okay, John just made a really good point, and in part to answer Anjat's question, Angie's question, he's speaking at 4:30 by the way, so stick around. Theoretically, anyone off the street could use the observatory within reason, and the tutorials that are online right now, not the new ones, but the older ones, you go through those tutorials, you take a couple tests, and if you are out there either on a refit crew, a volunteer crew, or a mission, you're able to use the observatory. So for instance, if one of these guys, went in as a crew geologist, if beforehand they went through the videos, took the test, they would be able to use the observatory. Thanks for reminding me, John. Okay, so anyone can use it, anyone can volunteer. And I would venture to say anyone could go out there for free, just volunteer.
What procedures could you use to align the telescope?
What procedures? I actually wasn't there for that. They went through one of the pictures I was showing you of Cerebeth. They took the scope off and they were leveling it, making sure that there was no leveling issues. And then it was just, your normal polar alignment.
So it was aligned with the mouse.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me, and hopefully you guys will stick around for the other talks this afternoon. Thanks again.